Good morning. Good morning. Happy Lunar New Year, and it's very good to see you, Delegate Wright, and members of the committee. And so we are about to get started. We have some administrative actions first. By the request of the patron for House Bill 2656 from Delegate Lawfer, I'd like a motion to strike that bill.
So moved, Madam Chair. Second.
All right, that motion has been made and properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, I think that's a recorded vote, so if you can open the roll. I'll give you 1 moment. Please record your vote. And that bill is stricken by a vote of 9-1. And then House Bill 2709 from Delegate Singh. He has asked us to pass that bill by for the day. I believe that if we can get a motion on that.
So moved. Second.
Okay, that motion has been made and seconded. I believe that is a voice vote to pass by House Bill 2709. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, that bill is passed by for the day. I'm going to call on Delegate Jones first, House Bill 1662.
Chair Tran, members, just want to thank you for allowing us to come and present this morning. I am presenting Bill number 16, HB 1662. Madam Chair, last October, a group of 4th and 5th grade students at Al Medina School in my district came and presented to me a brief presentation on the impact that plastic bags have on marine life. It was a very compelling argument. It was a very compelling presentation, so much so that I committed to them to carry this bill on the ban of plastic bags. I recognize that in study and research that there is in the code the opportunity for each locality to have a tax on plastic bags as an opportunity to slow down the use of those plastic bags. And basically, we're just looking for prohibition for the stoppage of usage of grocery stores from using these plastic bags and carryout bags by 2027, just simply trying to promote reusable bags and funding litter control throughout the Commonwealth. I shared with them that in many cultures, that plastic bag has different significance. In my household, it was not only the gym bag, the laundry bag, and the lunch box, but oftentimes it was used even for a trash bag in my early college years. And we shared a laugh with these young people and let them know that their fight for environmentalism and to have a clean environment was an important fight for each of them to have. And so, Madam Chair, I would ask that you would be gentle with us as I take back the report that their labor wasn't in vain, neither is their advocacy, and neither is their voice as their legislator. Thank you, Chair Tran.
Thank you so much, Delegate Jones. Are there any questions from our committee members for House Bill 1662? Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I'd like to say to the patron, this is a reminder of why we do what we do. I just want to express gratitude to you for creating a participatory process within your district and give a shout out to those children who not only found a problem and found a solution and found a vehicle to make it happen. So I just wanted to express gratitude for what you're doing in your own backyard.
Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Are there any other questions from our committee members? No. Are there folks here to speak?
Do we need to move the substitute?
Oh, there was a substitute?
Yes. Yeah, if we need to move it, yes, ma'am.
Would you or council like to explain the substitute before? All those in favor of moving the substitute, please say aye. Aye. All right, thank you. Any opposed? The substitute's properly before us. Delegate Jones, would you like council to report the substitute?
Council, good.
All right. Good morning, council.
Madam Chair, the Department of Taxation recommended to put a delayed effective date on it. So the substitute on lines 86 to 87 has said it shall become effective on January 1st, 2027.
So a delayed enactment. Thank you so much. All right. Are there any folks in the room here to speak in support of this bill? Good morning.
Hi, I'm Melly Wilson with Environment Virginia. We support the bill. Plastic bags have a lot of horrible effects on our environment and our wildlife. We have passed that fee in several localities. Several other localities have expressed that they just wish we passed a ban. So this gives people the opportunity to still pass that fee up until 2027, and then at that point actually get rid of these really bad form of litter in our environment. And to add to that, these plastic bags cause a lot of issues in actual good recycling as well. They clog up the machines, they cause hazards for workers. So not only do they harm our environment, but they harm good recycling that we want to see done as well. So I encourage you to support the bill. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Jay Ford with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. We were absolutely thrilled to hear that these students focus on marine organisms. It means their teachers are bringing them up right. We share their concerns about plastics making their way into the marine environment. I would also flag that as an additional consideration, plastic bags are one of the main issues when it comes to draining stormwater systems in neighborhoods and cities. They end up costing thousands, if not millions of dollars over the year because of their prevalence. And in rural communities, this often goes unremarked upon here, but they cause tremendous damage in agricultural equipment as well. So the list of reasons that we should accelerate getting these out of our system is many, and we thank the delegates so much for bringing this, as well as the students.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. I'm Steve Carter Lovejoy with the Virginia Sierra Club, and we support this bill for the other reasons that have been mentioned. The fact that it's come up often, it's time to pass it. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there folks in the room who are here to speak in opposition to the bill? Good morning.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Travis Smiley, Virginia Food Industry Association. We oppose the bill. It's our understanding that when this debate first came up, there was a decision to be made between banning or allowing localities the ability to tax, and the latter of those two options was chosen. So we'd like to see that continue to move forward. Another issue is, this is what consumers prefer. Consumers prefer plastic bags to paper bags or reusable. And in addition, close to 80% of consumers already recycle their own bags for other purposes. So it's not just a single use, and the delegate alluded to that, the various amounts of other sort of uses that there are. And I'd like to add as well that many retailers already do a recycling program for plastic bags if you just return them to the store. So with all that in mind, I'd like to ask that you all oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee. I'm Mike Carlin with Access Point Public Affairs on behalf of the Coalition for Consumer Choices. This is an association of 7 regional chambers of commerce and 10 statewide and national associations that promote recycling. We think recycling is the answer. We know that we can improve recycling. We're pushing to create new opportunities for Virginia to lead in recycling. I will say that I'll just note that the agreement that was reached a few years ago on taxing the bags rather than banning them has really resulted in a reduction of the use of plastic bags because people are avoiding the tax. So I think what is in place is working, and would urge you to oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Kate Baker on behalf of Virginia Retail Federation. We also oppose the bill, and I would like to echo the comments of the previous speakers. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Madam Chair, Brandon Bull from the Department of Environmental Quality. We do applaud the advocacy of the students who brought this bill to Delegate Jones, and we thank Delegate Jones for taking some time to chat with us about the bill earlier this week. The administration does oppose the bill. In addition to the reasons stated, we have some concerns about the practicalities of enforcement of the bill. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Delegate Jones, do you want to have a last word?
Yes, ma'am. Chair Tran, excuse me, Chair Tran and members, just want to thank you for taking the time, the precious time that we have in this short session to hear from students within my district. And I'm really challenged throughout this process to go back to a couple of my localities, Richmond and Chesterfield, and really encourage them to look at all the tools that they have currently in their toolbox to do the right thing by the environment. But again, I just want to, again, go on record just thanking the 4th and 5th grade students at Al Medina for taking their time out of their school day to come and take part in the political process. So many students have not even been to the Capitol, but for them to come down and take that time was very encouraging. Thank you, Chair Tran.
Great, thank you so much. I'm sorry, I was made aware that we have somebody online for this bill. Is our person, Ms. Camblin, still available? Oh, they didn't come. All right. All right. Delegate Willett?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a comment, then a motion at the appropriate time.
Go ahead, Delegate Willett.
No, thank you, Madam Chair, and I very much appreciate the patron, appreciate the schools who and the students who came forward on this. I thought about proposing a friendly amendment to pay me a quarter for every time I pick up a plastic bag in my runs throughout the district. It is crazy how many bags I can collect in a given morning, hanging on trees, finding and those getting washed into the storm sewers and all of that. So it is an issue, but I think we are doing better, and I think a lot of localities have taken advantage of this tax option, and what I'd like to offer is that to see how that plays out more. I think we're still a little early in that process. I think my impression is we are making progress on this, and also the recycling programs. I'm a bag recycler, and we need to make those more that recycling more available. So I think you'll see more of that, which is a good thing. So, Madam Chair, my motion would be to very, very gently lay this bill on the table as substituted.
All right, there's been a motion to gently lay House Bill 1662 on the table as substituted. And it's been properly seconded. That motion is before us. If we can please vote. All right, thank you so much,
Chair
Delegate
Tran,
Jones.
members, thank you.
By a vote of 8-1. Next, I'm going to have Delegate Gardner come up. I think she has a committee that starts at 7:30. Thank you. Good morning, Delegate Gardner.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm here to present HB 2025. HB 2025 requires the Wildlife Corridor Action Plan, and this actually expands upon legislation that's already been put in place, created by the Department of Wildlife and Resources to address the financial needs of the plan and implement certain additional initiatives. The bill directs the Department of Conservation and Recreation to include in the Virginia Flood Protection Master Plan a directive only to encourage opportunities to incorporate wildlife-friendly design in the flood resilience infrastructure where flood risk priorities align with the priorities of the Wildlife Corridor Plan. The bill requires that the Department of Transportation establish and administer a program for the implementation of wildlife crossings of the highways of the Commonwealth and incorporate recommendations of wildlife corridor action plans established by the wildlife resources pursuant to the law. And the most sexy thing this bill deals with is the disposal of the carcasses of these wildlife. So I actually have somebody here for Virginia Wild to answer any technical questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Delegate Gardner. Are there any questions?
You have a substitute?
Oh.
Huh?
You have line amendments?
Light amendments.
Okay. Would you, can we move the line amendments so they're before us?
Move the line amendments.
All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, so the line amendments are before us. Council, or could you report them, or Delegate Gardner, would you like to?
Council, would you do that for me, please?
Madam Chairman, the new language is going to be on lines 91 through 123, and there's 9 of them. On line 91, introduced after the first Romanette, we're striking ensuring the existence of and insert evaluating. On line 92, introduced after the second Romanette, strike determining how to secure diverse competitive grants, insert identifying competitive grants that could be pursued for priority wildlife crossing projects. On line 92, introduced after the third Romanette, strike the remainder of line 92 and through mechanism on line 93, insert evaluating the potential mechanisms. At the beginning of line 94, introduce, insert the pursuit of funding for projects. On line 94, introduce after priorities, insert and. Line 94 again, introduce after exploring, strike all of the lines on line 94, insert funding opportunities for. On line 96, introduce after index, you strike the remainder of line 96 through grants on line 97. On line 111, introduce after maintain, strike a guidance document, insert an instructional and informational memorandum. On line 123, introduce after Commonwealth, insert at the site of removal.
Thank you, Council.
So I think those line amendments are before us, and hopefully they'll pop up on LIS if folks want to be able to track them. All right, are there questions from our committee members about House Bill 2025?
Madam Chair?
Yes, Delegate Willett.
I really want to hear about the carcass disposal. I'm sorry.
All right. Are there any folks here in the audience who wish to speak in support of House Bill 2025?
Madam Chair, thank you for your time. I'm Misty Bowes. I'm the U.S. Conservation Policy Manager at Wildlands Network, and I'm happy to be representing 20 organizations today from around the state, a very diverse coalition of folks, from sportsmen's groups to environmental groups. And we're here because wildlife vehicle collisions are deadly and they're dangerous. And we know we can do something about them. We know that wildlife crossings work. And so this bill actually builds on the work that's been done previously in the General Assembly with our Wildlife Corridor Action Plan, and it more firmly integrates it into the work that we're doing. So I'd just like to highlight a couple of statistics. These accidents are expensive every year. They cost us $41,000 per incident, and this bill will help save those funds. We also know that well-placed wildlife crossings can pay for themselves in just a few years. And so if we can get these wildlife crossings in the right places, using that good data that we're going to collect through the carcasses, we can actually put these things where they can be most useful and save the most lives. So we encourage you all to protect drivers, conserve wildlife, and save money by supporting this bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Booz. All right. If y'all want to move up just a little bit closer, that would be wonderful. Good morning.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. I'm Ellie Wilson with Environment Virginia. We have done an incredible job connecting people with our roads, and we have just not done a good enough job connecting habitat. Connecting habitat leads to healthier wildlife populations, and it also saves lives, both wildlife and human lives. So we have this really great plan, but if we don't do anything with our plan, nothing's going to happen. So these are some really common sense solutions to elevate the work that's already been done, from the data collection to the funding of the projects. So we encourage you to support the bill.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. Chris Lamb with South Cliff Strategies, representing the James River Association. I just want to highlight two things that are the reason that we support this bill: the incorporation of wildlife-friendly design and flood resilience infrastructure, as well as the promotion of biodiversity, enabling aquatic and terrestrial species to navigate fragmented landscapes. Thank you, and we encourage your support.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. Steve Carter Lovejoy with the Virginia Sierra Club, and we support this bill. This is a good advance to help this work get done. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee, Blair St. Ledger Olson with the Virginia League of Conservation Voters. We thank the patron for bringing this legislation forward, and for all the reasons previously stated, we support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chairman, members of the subcommittee. Ian Blair representing Wetlands Watch. That connection and nexus of flood resiliency and aquatic organism as well as wildlife crossings, really important. I've been talking with some engineers in Washington State who've been doing some really incredible projects. I'd love to see that happen in Virginia. So, thank you.
Thank you for being here. Good morning.
Morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee. My name is Kyle Hart. I'm on behalf of the National Parks Conservation Association. Obviously, national parks are often full of wildlife, but those wildlife move between parks, and this bill is an important step to ensure that as those wildlife exit park borders or transition between different parks, that they are protected from vehicle collisions. Thank you for the sponsor for carrying this bill.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. Madam Chair, Ken Wright, Potomac Conservancy. We support this legislation.
Great. Thank you so much, Ken. All right, I think are there any folks in the room who want to speak in opposition to House Bill 2025? All right. I think there's some folks online, and I had Misty listed online, but I think you spoke already, Misty. So we have Dr. Jessica Roberts. Good morning.
Hi, thank you, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, and a big thank you to the patron of this bill. I just wanted to reiterate a lot of the statistics we heard today. So there are 89,000 animal collision claims filed in Virginia from State Farm alone, and Misty gave that really telling of the cost of each one of these deer vehicle collisions is around $41,000. So that's a huge cost to both the Commonwealth and personal costs. And I just also want to reiterate, we have the wonderful Wildlife Corridor Action Plan. This is a step forward in identifying high priority areas for connectivity, but it lacks the necessary funding and data accuracy, which is where that carcass removal app comes in to drive real solutions. So we really just don't, as a state, have the luxury of waiting for one or two crossings to be built. We really need this to be incorporated into all infrastructure projects. That is the real solution to our problem, because we are top 10 in the nation for wildlife vehicle conflict. So this is what this bill does. So to integrate both terrestrial and aquatic passage into all project scoping for infrastructure projects is necessary. So a handful of crossings that we may get out of the action plan really just will not do enough to solve this issue. And that, again, is what this bill does. Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning, Pat.
Morning, Pat Calvert, Virginia Conservation Network.
Oh, no. We lost Pat.
That was Pat.
Oh, I think Pat was going to share his support for this bill. All right. Thank you, Pat. Okay. Pat's back.
I'm back. Don't know what happened, but Virginia Conservation Network supports this bill.
Great. Thank you so much. Yay. All right. Are there any questions from our committee members? Are there any I did call for folks who oppose the bill in the room, but I'll do it again. If there are any folks here who are opposed to this bill, please come forward. Okay, great. Committee members. If you would, you would like to take action on this bill to move it forward, it does need to be referred to appropriations. Delegate Willett.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Just note for the record, of those 89,000 State Farm claims, one of those was mine.
And one is mine as well, Madam Chair.
We're good company. Madam Chair, I move that we report and refer HB 2025 to appropriations.
Second.
As amended.
Second. All right. The motion has been to report and refer HB 2025 as amended to appropriations, and it's been properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, if you can please open the roll. And this bill will move forward by a vote of 6-4. Thank you so much, Delegate Gardner.
Thank you, Madam Chair and committee members.
Delegate Anthony, thank you for your patience. Delegate Anthony, you have two bills before us. Which would you like to speak about first?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to speak to HB 2030 first.
Okay. HB 2030 is before us.
All right, HB 2030, I have a substitute. I'd like to move that forward.
Move the substitute.
All right, there's been a motion to move, and it's properly seconded to have this substitute be before us properly. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Great. Delegate Anthony, would you like to explain the substitute, or would you like council to report on that?
Before I explain the substitute, I would like to offer a line amendment to that substitute.
Okay. Delegate Anthony has a line amendment to the substitute.
The amendment?
Second. It's all those in favor of moving the amendment so we can have the whole substitute as amended before us, please say aye. Any opposed? All right.
All right, so I explained to the line amendment to the presented substitute. Would like to add to the composition of the Interagency Environmental Justice Task Force. At the end of the Virginia Economic Development Partnership, we would like to put "and one representative appointed by the Virginia Council on Environmental Justice."
Do you want to explain the substitute, Delegate
Yes,
Anthony?
I will explain the substitute. Environmental justice is not sexy. Unfortunately, environmental justice is often a footnote, but we're trying to make environmental justice a foundation. And so here, this ensures that the Virginia Council of Environmental Justice formal role within the task force while maintaining its advisory authority. And so it also strengthens the relationship between these two entities. It also helps resolve concerns about their alignment and collaboration. And so here we want to talk about the Environmental Justice Council and the proposed interagency task force. And so here the task force enhances the work of an Environmental Justice Council. It does increase the agency accountability, expanding interagency collaboration, and providing critical information that strengthens the EJ Council's ability to fulfill its advisory role. And so here the task force complements and strengthens the EJ Council's role. The EJ Council, remember, it's an advisory body. The task force supports its work by ensuring more state agencies are actively reviewing their practices and decisions through an environmental justice lens. This brings coordination more of government entities into the fold of environmental justice implementation. It does reinforce statewide efforts to address inequities. The enhanced collaboration with the state agencies here gives the task force members to liaise directly with agency leaders. It builds stronger partnerships and ensure community concerns are considered in agency decision making. And so here the task force's review of agency practices and environmental justice impacts provides the EJ Council with critical actionable data for its advisory reports to the governor and the General Assembly. And so this information helps to ensure the EJ Council's recommendations are grounded in real-world agency practices and outcomes. And so by facilitating a broader view of the agency actions, the task force ensures environmental justice concerns raised by communities are incorporated into government decision-making processes. And so rather than duplicating the work of the EJ Council, the task force provides a structural mechanism for agencies to implement and monitor environmental justice policies while still allowing the council to focus on its strategic role. So let me break this down for you. So the purpose of the EJ Council is an advisory role with broad environmental justice policies and priorities. The Interagency Environmental Justice Task Force is an operational role focused on interagency coordination and implementation of specific actions. The composition of the EJ Council is an independent advisory body that's not limited to state agencies. The Interagency Environmental Task Force includes representatives from specific state agencies, and it's task-focused. The engagement of the EJ Council advises state leadership, but does not directly oversee agency actions. The task force requires agencies to collaborate and take actionable steps based on task force guidance. As far as the community role as in the EJ Council, it advises based on input from communities and experts. For the task force, we propose that it actively engages with communities and regional advisory panels for direct feedback. The reporting of the EJ Council provides recommendations but does not prepare agency guidelines. The Environmental Justice Task Force prepares detailed annual reports on state environmental justice efforts and submits them to the Virginia Council of Environmental Justice for feedback. The scope of work for the EJ Council is broad, systemic, policy-level environmental justice issues. The Environmental Justice Task Force is a specific project and agency-level environmental justice policies, practices, and outcomes. Again, it's not sexy, but we want to make environmental justice not just a footnote. We want to make environmental justice a foundation. We don't want environmental justice to be treated as a buzzword, a symbolic gesture rather than a structural commitment. So HB 2030 changes that. The bill ensures that environmental justice is not an afterthought, but an operational priority woven into the daily decision-making of state agencies. We want to hold agencies accountable, require cumulative impact assessments, establish regional advisory panels so that the affected communities have a real voice in shaping infrastructure projects and policies that impact their health, environment, and economic future. Adding the Virginia Council of Environmental Justice representatives to the HB 23 member structure cements that connection between the advisory expertise and the direct government action. This is more than a report. It's a mechanism for enforcement, oversight, and transformation. And so I hope it is the will of the committee to report this bill.
Thank you so much, Delegate Anthony, and for breaking down the difference between the task force and the existing council. Are there any questions from our committee members? Oh, Delegate Bloxham.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The fisc on that is really non-existent, but what you described is intense, and it's needed, or it seems to be needed, but I'm just trying to figure out the cost. Staff, someone's going to have to coordinate and do all this the way you described the substitute. So I'm just questioning the fisc, and if this goes any further, I would say that it would have to be referred to approach, Madam Chair.
Thank you for that, Delegate Bloxham. Delegate Lopez, was your hand up? No?
I just had a couple questions. I really do appreciate the work you're doing on environmental justice. I've been working on this issue since the mid-90s in Cancer Alley in the Mississippi Valley while I was in law school. And these kinds of conversations are vitally important as we tackle any number of environmental related policies and projects across the Commonwealth. Just some really basic questions. With the substitute, it feels like you're missing a couple agencies. Also, is it clear how many people from each agency will be appointed? Who's the overseeing agency? And is it the governor's office? Is it General Assembly? I would echo what Delegate Bloxham said in terms of the overall cost with the substitute.
Madam Chair, I would answer. Madam Chair, I would answer yes. My presentation was intense, And this is a very grave need. And yes, we do list a certain amount of departments where their infrastructure projects will impact EJ communities greatly. This interagency task force is not new. And I do have some people in the audience that will speak to that effort. And if I can call them up, thank you.
Let me see if there are any other questions. I don't see any other hands raised right now, but we'll call up folks who want to speak in support of the bill. And would that be helpful right now? Yes. Okay. If you are here to speak in support of House Bill 2030, and I think the patron asked if you could also address the questions that Delegate Lopez raised too. I think perhaps on the FIS part, that was the FIS assigned to the introduced bill. And so because we have a substitute, maybe that hasn't caught up yet.
Address that? You can go first. Thanks. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Steve Fishback. I'm the chair of Virginia Interfaith Power and Light's General Assembly Committee, and I'm here to speak in favor of the bill. To provide some historical context, in 2020, this body enacted the Virginia Environmental Justice Act, which declared that it is the policy of the Commonwealth to promote environmental justice throughout the Commonwealth. And at the same time, in 2020, this body, in the form of a budget amendment, established an interagency working group on environmental justice. That interagency group mirrored an interagency group that exists on the federal level as a coordinating body for government agencies to work on environmental justice. And the 2020 budget amendment that created the interagency task force directed the task force to develop agency-specific environmental justice policies that met a number of specific benchmarks. So here, this bill is an attempt to revive that structure. And in 2021 and in 2022, when the interagency task force met, there was back and forth between the task force and the council. Members of the council often attended task force meetings, and occasionally vice versa. So there should be no concern about one usurping the other. They really act in concert. And the goal of the task force is, again, a coordinating function amongst the different state agencies, and also to require that each of these agencies report on their actions to further to what they did to comply with the Virginia Environmental Justice Act. So this again is designed to ensure that the Environmental Justice Act is really carried out, because ultimately it's state agencies that are going to be promoting environmental justice throughout the Commonwealth. And we ask that you support the bill, and I'm here to answer any other technical questions that you might have.
Okay, great. Thank you. I don't see any hands up right now. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
All right.
Good morning,
Good
Madam
morning.
Chair and committee members. My name is Kim Sudderth, and I'm representing Virginia Interfaith Power and Light. I'm also representing my neighborhood in the zip code of 23523. I can tell you that we have 4 shipyards, 3 manufacturing companies, as well as decades and generations of polluting from industry. This bill would address that. An interagency working group would mitigate harmful decisions that would increase my vulnerability. I am asking you to support this bill. EJ may not be sexy, but it might save our lives. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Good morning.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Blair St. Ledger Olson with the Virginia League of Conservation Voters. Virginia has made progress on environmental justice, but it's beyond time that we continue past that incremental process and start looking at really robust solutions. And as Delegate Bloxham said, this is intense, but it is needed. So for that, we thank the patron and support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning, Madam Chair. Jay Ford with the Chesapeake Bay Foundation. I also had the honor previously to serve on the Environmental Justice Council, representing the Eastern Shore. I do want to try and answer the delegate's question around the FIS. The way this functioned previously, it really was an opportunity to bring representatives that had been identified within each agency together and do best practices sharing, talk about what was working in their agency, what was not, and get some critical feedback from outside your agency. I think at the core of this bill is sort of the understanding that we have looked at environmental justice in many ways as a DEQ problem instead of a whole of government issue, and that we recognize that we have environmental justice impacts that are in many of our agencies and secretariats. And so it is trying to silo bust and make sure that we are not limiting the conversation to one area or another. And so I would say, I don't know what the FIS is, but in those instances, they were not, it wasn't expensive to bring people together. You had some administrative costs, but the conversations they were having were invaluable. There were agencies that had never even had the opportunity to engage in this before. So we thank the sponsor and thank all of you and hope you look favorably upon this bill.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning, Chair and members. Amy Wentz here representing Southside Relief. For too long, communities like Southside Richmond, where I live, have endured industrial pollution, poor air quality, and harmful infrastructure decisions that have led to higher rates of asthma, cancer, and reduced life expectancy. We believe this task force will provide essential guidance to ensure that communities most impacted by pollution and climate change have a voice in decision-making and access to solutions that improve health and quality of life across the Commonwealth. This bill simply encourages collaboration among important state departments towards the Commonwealth's sustainability efforts and ensures all neighborhoods are considered an advisement to our governor. I ask you please support the bill. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for being here. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the subcommittee. I'm Lillian Anderson with Virginia Conservation Network. We support this bill. We see it as a critical step to engaging agencies and thinking more holistically and collaboratively about supporting the EJ Council's important ongoing work, and we thank the patron for bringing it forward.
Thank you. Good morning again.
Good morning, Ian Blair, representing Wetlands Watch. We support the bill, and we thank the patron for bringing this forward. As we start seeing regional bottom-up planning approaches, and this bill hits on that regional advisory committees, those are particularly useful when we have these significant infrastructure projects that are happening around, particularly coastal Virginia. And by prioritizing environmental justice in those, we're moving towards a more sustainable and just Commonwealth. Please support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, Steve Carter Lovejoy with the Virginia Sierra Club, and we support this bill as well. Everybody's in favor of environmental justice, but it takes extra work and money to implement it. And we appreciate this bill.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Morning again, Madam Chair. Ken Wright, Potomac Conservancy. We support the bill for the reasons that everybody else said. I think this is an important step towards addressing the burdens that have been shifted to socioeconomically and marginalized communities. So we support this. We think this is a good step forward.
Great. Thank you. Are there any folks here who wish to speak in opposition to the bill? All right. I think we have somebody signed up online. I don't know if they're there, though. No, they're not there. All right. The bill is before the committee. Are there any other questions from our committee members? Okay, so we did on this bill get a request for it to be sent to the Rules Committee, and if you want to move it, that would be the appropriate motion.
Madam Chair, I have a motion.
Delegate Willett.
Madam Chair, I move that a report HB 2030 with substitute as amended and refer to rules.
That is such a complex motion with substitute as amended to rules. The motion has been made. Do we have a second? And it's been properly seconded. Mr. Clerk, if you could please open the roll. It's such a complex move. There's not necessarily the correct choice on the board to encompass all of that. And please record your vote. Excuse me. Thank you. Delegate Anthony, this bill moves forward by a vote of 6-4.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And you have another bill with us.
I do. I have another bill. I have HB 2267. It's an air quality monitoring program for certain communities, DEQ, to establish and report. So what was addressed from the last subcommittee meeting is that we wanted to make sure that the DEQ was going to establish an ongoing air quality monitoring program for fence-line communities. We are bringing forth extensive amendments, and I would like to talk to about those amendments in concept.
Okay, one second. Let's see if we can bring them. Are they line amendments or is it a substitute, Council? It's a substitute? All right, can we move the substitute?
Move the substitute.
A second on that. Second. It's moved and seconded. All those in favor of bringing the substitute properly before us, please say aye. Aye. Any
Speaking
opposed?
to the substitute.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the committee. So here, we want to make sure that we address the intense fiscal impact of this bill and administrative burden. We wanted the bill to emphasize a pilot program in planning districts, explicitly relieving the fiscal and administrative burden for DEQ. We wanted to add language to use the planning district commissions and a pilot program focus. So we wanted to make sure that we implement this program regionally in a cost-effective, pilot-focused manner. Also, as far as the implementation framework, we want the language to explicitly limit the program to 3 planning districts to start based on environmental justice criteria and sets clear guidelines for phased implementation. As far as the role of the planning district commissions, in concept, we want the revised text to include language directing DEQ to collaborate with planning district commissions for data collection, public engagement, and administration, reducing state-level administrative burden. As far as the criteria for selection, we wanted the language to explicitly require DEQ, in consultation with the Virginia Council on Environmental Justice, to establish selection criteria based on proximity to pollution, health disparities, and socioeconomic vulnerability. We want a phased implementation where the amendments reflect this phased implementation with expansion tied to pilot findings and available funding. We have not introduced a scalability amendment to this. We're just going to start with the 3 planning districts. As far as reporting requirements, we want the reporting requirements to have reduced annual reports from participating planning district commissions and a consolidated biennial report from DEQ to the General Assembly. As far as the funding provisions, we want the revised text to provide a provision requiring DEQ and planning district commissions to try to seek external funding and minimize the impact on the state budget. In all of these, as far as this substitute, we want to provide fiscal relief, where the pilot program limits immediate scope, it reduces cost. We wanted administrative simplicity, wanted to partner with planning district commissions. There is precedent where we've done this before in code. We want to leverage the PDC's resources and also ease state administrative burden. It's targeted impact. We want to use the selection criteria to ensure resources are focused on the most vulnerable communities. We have a phased approach. The program scales gradually, guided by pilot findings, ensuring efficient use of resources. And of course, sustainability. We want to emphasize the finding of external funding, which aligns with reducing reliance on state funds. We could, in the future, add scalability language where we could, implement if the data from the pilot program, subject to available resources and demonstrated need. And this is how we presented the substitute. But I wanted to emphasize the need for fence-line communities, neighborhoods, populations living near industrial facilities, refineries, factories, power plants, ports, and waste disposal sites. These communities often bear the brunt of environmental hazards because of their proximity to polluting facilities. These communities often experience higher exposure to air, water pollution, noise, and hazardous waste. Typically, these are low-income and minority populations. Residents may lack political or economic resources to advocate for better protection. There are also health impacts: high asthma, respiratory illnesses, and cardiovascular disease rates, increased risk of cancer, neurological disorders, poor water quality. They face systemic neglect. Historical patterns of racism and discriminatory zoning practices have often left these communities neglected. And so here we are, we want to make sure that we understand this, because Virginia's current understanding of fence-line communities is very limited, as stated by DEQ from the last subcommittee meeting. The state does not have a comprehensive inventory of fence-line communities. It makes it difficult to address their needs effectively. DEQ selected 2 communities within Planning District 23, the Lamberts Point community in Norfolk and the Southeast community in Newport News, based on years of complaints from residents, complaints with high rates of asthma and other diseases. And of course, these communities represent decades of environmental and public health advocacy that brought the attention to their plight. We do not want to sacrifice any more Virginians before we act. And so why mapping of fence-line communities is crucial. We want to make sure that we identify where monitoring and remediation efforts are needed most. The General Assembly acts on good data. We want to allow the state to allocate resources effectively and address health disparities. We want to have accountability. We want to enable us to monitor industrial compliance with environmental standards. And of course, we'd want to protect Virginia's. So here, 2267 creates a comprehensive map, deploy monitoring systems, engage residents, and it focuses on health equity. And so I ask it be the will of the committee, as substituted, to pass HB 2267 in concept.
Thank you so much, Delegate Anthony. Council, I've had a couple of folks ask me if this substitute is available on LIS yet. Are we just waiting for the system to update?
Madam Chair, the substitute was not prepared through DLS. So what was reported by Delegate Anthony would have to be adopted conceptually.
The committee will go at ease for a moment. Thank you so much. The committee is back. I'm sorry, I don't know what the right words are to say we're back. So I appreciate, Delegate Anthony, that you have presented this in concept. And so I think what we're going to ask is that for this bill to be, I guess we're going to pass it by temporarily and be redocketed to be discussed in the full committee. And so perhaps we could have an updated bill that we could all be able to look at and vote on at that point. All right. Okay. So I think that would be the motion, is to pass by temporarily, and then we will have it redocketed for the full committee, which meets later on this morning.
Madam Chair, I move to pass Bill HB 2267 by temporarily.
The motion has been made and properly seconded to pass by HB 2267 temporarily. Is that a recorded vote, Mr. Clerk? That's a voice vote. All right. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. And so our full committee meets around 9 a.m. Thank
you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Delegate Willett.
Good morning, Madam Chair.
Good morning, Delegate Willett.
Thank you. I have HB 2630 before you. This bill allows localities by ordinance to establish a tree canopy fund to collect, maintain, and distribute fees collected from developers that cannot provide for full tree canopy requirements where a development project is situated. Essentially what this bill does is makes it easier for local governments to replace tree canopy that's lost during development, where the builders, and gives builders more flexibility to meet tree canopy replacement requirements. I think we all know that tree canopies are essential for the Chesapeake Bay stormwater pollution reduction goals. To meet those, mitigate flooding, improve public health by providing cleaner air and water for residents. Madam Chair, this is a morning of learning from children. This bill was actually first suggested to me in a letter that I received from a young man named Liam, who is a third grader at an elementary school in my district. Liam is 9 years old and wrote to me because of his passion for the environment, passion for trees. And he was very concerned about the trees that we're losing, as well as trying to increase the number of trees that we have. I would love for with the Chair's indulgence, for you to hear from Liam. He's here today to speak to us, and we may have other witnesses as well, but I would love to turn it over to Liam at the appropriate time.
All right. Thank you so much, Delegate Willett. Before we turn it over to Liam, are there any questions from our committee members about House Bill 2630 to start? All right. I don't see any hands. Good morning, Liam, and thank you so much for waiting patiently. And thank you for your letter. I think that we all have a copy of. Oh my God. Good morning.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me today. My name is Liam, and I'm 9 years old, and I'm in third grade at Tuckahoe Elementary School in Henrico. I'm writing to you because I like trees. Trees keep the air clean and provide shade and make it less hot. Trees prevent soil erosion, and trees are a habitat for many animals. Can you please vote for House Bill 2630 to protect old trees and to plant new ones? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming, Liam. Are there any other folks in the room who would like to speak in support of House Bill 2630? That's a tough act to follow.
I know. Yeah. Sorry. Madam Chair, I regret my position in line. Jay Ford with Chesapeake Bay Foundation. We are so grateful to Delegate Willett as well as Liam for his support of trees. This legislation came out of a stakeholder group. It was a consensus recommendation. Essentially, this would give localities the flexibility to be able to get trees in the ground when that mitigation cannot be done on site. We have a number of localities that are looking for this authority right now to be able to set up the tree fund as they are updating their ordinance. So this is just a consensus, easy, straightforward tool in the conservation toolbox that can help us address canopy issues in the urban environment, and we hope you will support it. Thank you.
Thank you and good morning.
Madam Chair, members of the committee, Blair St. Ledger Olson with the Virginia League of Conservation Voters. My heart is so touched this morning. I was Liam when I was little. It's why I became an environmental scientist, and you kid are awesome. Please run the world one day. And for all of the reasons previously stated by Liam, we really do support this bill, and it is an excellent step forward in making sure our tree canopy replacement rate is advanced. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Amy Wentz with Southside Relief, and we're with Liam, and we support this bill. Thank you.
I love that. We're with Liam. Go ahead. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Justin Doyle with the James River Association. I want to thank Delegate Willett for patroning the bill. Thank Liam for his testimony. We support the bill. We love the flexibility it provides developers, and we love it as another tool for localities to lean on for tree replacement. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning. Ian Blair, Wetlands Watch. Liam said it best. We support the bill.
Liam said it best. Good morning.
Ken Wright, Potomac Conservancy. We support this bill.
Thank you. Good morning.
Ellie Wilson with Environment Virginia. We want to thank the patron for bringing the bill forward, and we'd like to associate ourselves with everything Liam said. We support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Kim Sutterth with Interfaith Power and Light, and we support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Connor Will, current student from Virginia Tech and studying urban forestry and smart sustainable cities. I just want to say that I support this bill.
Great. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Good morning, Madam Chair. I'm Nate Miller. I'm from Rockingham County, Virginia, owner of Simply Sustainable Landscapes, and I'm on the family farm of Onyxford Farm. I support this bill. The future is with our young people, and Lord knows, we need more trees.
We do. Thank you so much. Good morning.
Madam Chair, Andrew Clark with the Home Builders Association of Virginia. Blair dragged me into the room and told me I had to support the bill, but we do support the bill. This is a concept we've discussed several years in a row, and I hope you will approve the measure. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Are there any folks who'd like to stand against Liam in opposition to this bill? I knew you wouldn't dare. All right. We have some folks online, so I'll call on Brent Hunsinger first.
Yes, Madam Chair and members of the subcommittee, Brent Hunsinger, Friends of the Rappahannock, and we thank the patron and Liam for helping bring this bill. We do think we have several localities in our watershed that have indicated that they are interested in adopting 961.3 and that adding this language would help to kind of convince them to do so. For that reason, we hope that you all support the bill. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brent. Ann Little?
Yes, I'm Ann Little, Executive Director of Tree Fredericksburg. Fredericksburg has a tree bank, but it's very restrictive because of state regulations. Delegate Will's bill would allow us, nonprofits like ourselves, to access these funds, not just city staff. Since 2008, the city of Fredericksburg has not had a dedicated city arborist, so Tree Fredericksburg has planted all of the trees in the city, for the city, 10,000 trees since then. And so this bill would allow us to access those funds. Also, it allows the funds to be used for maintenance. Planting a tree without long-term maintenance is not good horticultural practice and can be hazardous in an urban setting. We've lost 18% of our canopy here in Fredericksburg since 2012, and we're struggling, and we could use all the help we could get. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ann. Vic McKenzie Jr.?
Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the committee.
We lost Vic. Okay, so maybe he'll come back on. In the meantime, Pat Calvert.
Good morning, Madam Chair. Pat Calvert. Hopefully that didn't happen to me. Okay, he's back. So on behalf of Virginia Conservation Network, we're here to support Liam's bill. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And then Vic.
I promise I had a speech just as good as Liam's. I support this bill. Thank you all.
Thank you for being here and for coming back. All right. Are there any questions? Delegate Glass.
Gratitude, Madam Chair. I just wanted to express
Go
the
ahead,
same
Delegate
sentiment as
Glass.
earlier, getting young people involved. However, I just don't want us to forget that not only are trees canopies, they're also sponges. So it's so important that we do something like this, especially in a community like mine where we need the sponges to soak up all the water. So I'm hoping that the committee operates favorably on this bill.
Delegate Glass, do you have a motion?
Move to report.
Second. All right. This bill has been, the motion is to move to report, and it's properly seconded, and it's now before us. Mr. Clerk, if you can open the roll. Come, Rodney, come. I think it's our. So this bill passes unanimously by a vote of 10-0. And Liam, I just want to say I have 5 kids, and you're truly inspirational for thinking about something that affects your community, for coming all the way here, being in your best outfit, and speaking up. And I think that you are an inspiration to everybody in the room today, and I hope that you know that you're making a big difference. So kudos to you, and this should be Liam's bill.
There we go.
All right, I think that is our last bill for this morning. And so our committee will rise, and we'll see you in the subsequent, I think some of our other subcommittees are meeting a little bit later on this morning, and then full committees at 9. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.